Hey everybody, welcome back to another Diecast review. Today we are taking a look at something a little different from my standard or my normal. And this is going to be a car I've been looking for a long time, from 2016. It's a car that won a crown jewel in 2016. And, well, it's going to surprise everybody because it's not a NASCAR. We are talking about Alexander Rossi's 2016 Indianapolis 500 champion 1/18 scale IndyCar diecast from Greenlight. Greenlight? Yeah, it's from Greenlight. So yeah, we have limited edition 1/18 up here, but here you can see the picture of the car. Now it's not a raced version. This is just the paint scheme that ran at the track. So this is the one that they're going to have the paint scheme and every decal and sponsor correct, but they're not going to have like the little marks on the tires or any other details that might be, on the wings or anything like that. So, but yeah, so there's the picture. We're going to go ahead and move along to the front, where you've got Alexander Rossi there with the wreath, and then Indy 500, and you see the one there. It was the 100th running of the Indy 500. And we got Greenlight collectibles there. On the top, you just have Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and then Greenlight. So this is actually one of two versions of this. So if you look at the box art, and with the wreath and this, there's another version of this. This was a Napa exclusive. For this car. So this car was available through Napa stores, and so it had a little bit different box art. You can see you got Napa Racing on the one side down there. Also, it's kind of on both sides. So yeah, so that's kind of the box art, or at least the way that this one was obtained. So that's pretty cool. I actually got in touch with a Napa guy to get a hold of this, which is kind of neat. But let's go ahead now and take a look at the car, because like I said, no race detail, but this car's kind of neat, and the biggest reason why is the rear. It was an era of IndyCar where the rear of the car just always had this big old box on it. So you'd have these big boxes, and it created a huge hole in the air, and so they would get huge drafts on the straightaway. And I'm not going to lie, it was always really fun to watch, because it was like no one could really hold the lead for very long. It was very, there was a lot of passing early on, and this year, the current package they run isn't terrible. The problem is everybody just saves fuel behind the leader for like the first 3/4 of the race. Nobody's actually trying to work their way through the field, because basically you end up with a draft train. Everyone has a hint of draft, but it's not as big of a difference versus the leader, who has no draft. Where with this, it's like if you were 10 feet closer, your draft was so much higher, you could pass a guy in traffic, where now it's a lot less. So anyway, so pretty neat. We got Napa Auto Parts there. We got the number 1 up here. That is just where they were running on the track. That was something they used to have. We got our red Firestones there. We got CS&A. We've got what is that? Carlisle Tools by Napa. So we've got actually Carlisle Tools here on the side and the front wing. We've got Napa there on the front. We've got Honda. You can see just sponsors everywhere. We got Snapple, DHL, all the Andretti Autosport. And I say Autosport, it was Andretti Autosport. But anyway, but yeah, it's all the Andretti Autosport. We got the carbon fiber pieces here at the base of the car, or on the base of these wings. You can see the carbon fiber posts here. The steering column. Red mirrors, that was kind of something that stuck out to me, was the bright red mirror. Obviously no halo, because that was not a thing or the aero screen, I guess, wasn't a thing in 2016. We got Honda, we got Castrol Edge. You can see we've got another batch of sponsors here, the exhaust there. Flip it around to the back. Like I said, this is the cool part. I like the rear wing. I know a lot of people didn't like it. They thought it was ugly. I agree, it is ugly, but I mean, performance-wise, it made for some really fun oval races. But yeah, you can see just look at all the stuff on this wing. You got this piece over here, you got this piece right here, and then you got another big box over here, and yeah, it poked a pretty darn big hole in the air when they were using that. So, like I said, the racing it's hard to argue, because the racing was so good with this. But yeah, it wasn't even the story of this car, because this car was it won on fuel mileage. I remember this race so well because of that. I thought it was the 100th running. It's going to be really epic. And all of a sudden, with like 6 laps to go, a lot of guys are having to make their final pit stops. And then all of a sudden, Alexander Rossi pops out front after he had a good car all day, but got shuffled back in traffic and then saved fuel. But he pops out front, and people are like, "Oh, is he going to try and stretch it?" And sure enough, then you get 3 laps of just anticipating, can he make it? Can he make it? Can he make it? and he on the last lap went to punch and coast, and he was off the pace, and people thought that he had already run out, but he was just punching and coasting, and then eventually did run out of gas coming through turns 3 and 4, and coasted it back to the line, and he won the 100th Indy 500, which, yeah, I mean, that's kind of where my Rossi fandom came from, is that 2016 Indy 500, the way that whole thing ended, and I just thought that was such a cool race, and a fuel mileage race where a guy coasts across the line like that, you know, especially for the biggest race of the year, I think is pretty neat. And I think that's something that Daytona 500, unfortunately, by doing pack racing, they don't allow the strategies, you know, for someone to get real bold and pull a crazy strategy, because even if they were pulling the strategy, they're going to crash with 2 to go and re-rack and go wreck again. So I'll say, I mean, you know, I know a lot of people like pack racing. I think there's elements of fun to it, but I think at the end of the day, racing has always had elements of strategy and elements of, you know, trying a bold new thing that no one else is trying to see if you can steal the win. And man, this was definitely that race. So this is my favorite IndyCar race as of today that I've ever watched, and so it was really cool to pick this one up. But the good news is the Napa guy that I got it from said he had some more, so he said I could offer them on my website and on eBay. So if you're looking for these, you can check them out on my eBay page or on my website, and they'll be sitting there. I think these used to sell for like $250, like they were really expensive, and luckily I was able to get a hold of them, and I can sell them for $120. So that's pretty cool that I was able to find a guy that had a few. So anyway, guys, that'll pretty much wrap up this review. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Turn on the bell, subscribe for more Diecast, IndyCar, or NASCAR content, and enjoy the Sunday special later today. So thanks for watching. This has been Race Craze. We'll see you in the next one.